Let's turn to the advisory, and significant developments are unfolding in super and financial regulation, from the Gender Super Gap Bill to ASIC's latest proceedings. Jonathan Steffanoni is joining us from Legal and Prudential. Jonathan, good to see you.
Good morning.
So let's start in super. So the Gender Super Gap Bill, why has this been introduced? I mean, we know that there is that super gap. Primarily, history will tell you, because women have to exit the workforce to have children and so on. So what's this seeking to address?
So the bill came as a bit of a surprise. The private members bill was introduced last week. It seeks to use the existing rollover functionality within the system to allow partners to transfer between each other within certain limits and constraints. So it would only apply to accumulation phase products. There would be a limit which is pegged to the general transfer balance cap. So that's currently at $2 million, so wouldn't allow a transfer between spouses to push a balance above that, and it wouldn't apply to pension or defined benefit products.
So what are the potential benefits of that then, should it actually go through?
It's a really good question. The reality is that most people retire in a family unit still. So finances are usually tied together in retirement. The changes here would allow for redistribution between members of that family unit before they get to that point of setting up their retirement income affairs. So it's interesting in that it does have some safeguards to avoid this being used to avoid tax in a manner similar to a family trust. It retains the existing taxation parameters of a rollover amount. But it is interesting. I do wonder whether the prospect of the Division 296 tax coming in is in some way behind this, as it may allow for some reorganisation of affairs within a family unit that could push some people below the threshold, wherever that lands.
Well, it's interesting because now the government apparently is reconsidering 296.
I did see some of the reports on that. We know that there were a handful of technical issues which were likely to attract attention, whether it be the treatment of judicial pensions or the complexity with the defined benefit arrangements. There were a couple of known issues which don't surprise me that are attracting a little bit of attention. It does raise the possibility that we do get some indexation on that bill as well, but I haven't heard anything as to what those changes might look like as they're being considered.
Well, of course, that's what everyone's been crying out for. Why wouldn't it be indexed?
Yes.
But the government's been fairly resistant up until now, so fascinating to see how that plays out. Jonathan, let's move on then to the Shield Master Fund. Now, of course, that's left a trail of damage quite considerably given its collapse. Now, ASIC, I gather, is proceeding against Equity Trustees. What's it alleging here?
Yes, so ASIC have commenced proceedings in the federal court against the superannuation trustee within Equity Trustees. ASIC are alleging that the trustee breached three key duties. The first is the duty of care, skill and diligence that's required of a superannuation trustee. The second argument or allegation from ASIC is that the trustee also breached its financial services obligation to provide the services efficiently, honestly and fairly. And finally, ASIC has also alleged that the trustee breached the best financial interest duty. The fact base which ASIC has pointed to here relates to the processes through which the trustee made a decision or allowed that managed investment scheme to be made available through their platform product. So the thing I would highlight with this action from ASIC here is the focus will be on the processes and systems in place at the trustee and whether they were adequate or deficient.
Interesting also the involvement of Macquarie here. They're considering repayments essentially to avoid ASIC action.
I think that's interesting. The action which ASIC have commenced against equity trustees wouldn't necessarily be mitigated if compensation were decided to be paid. The allegations relate to the standard of care which the trustee is relying on in conducting its affairs. So ASIC has an interest in ensuring that the way in which trustees are going about their business is appropriate. So that will play out once it hits the federal court.
Jonathan, let's turn to the crypto space. Now, of course, there have been some number of high-profile collapses in recent years there. So ASIC versus Block Earner. Just tell us what that case is about, and I gather that the High Court's granted special leave of appeal on that decision.
So yes, you're right, the High Court has granted special leave, which ASIC applied for earlier this year. Off the back of a decision by the full federal court that decided that the offering of Block Earner was not a financial product within the definition in the Corporations Act, which meant that the licensing and protections under financial services law did not apply to that. I'm going to call it an offering, not a product, until we get some clarity in the High Court. This case will be interesting. We haven't had the High Court consider the definition of a financial product as far as I'm aware, or recently in any event. So this could potentially be interesting to look at much more broadly than simply crypto type products.
Oh, this has always played crypto, hasn't it? Whether it's a security or a commodity, I mean, these are definitions, aren't they? They're trying to work out.
It's a tricky question because on the one hand, if it is considered to be a financial product, it does confer some consumer protections. It also imposes responsibilities on product issuers. The flip side is it also grants a degree of legitimacy, which some corners are a little bit uncomfortable with for some aspects of the crypto sector. This case is quite interesting in that the offering is not a traditional crypto token. It looks a little bit more like a securities lending type offering where income is earned through lending crypto assets. So that little wrinkle makes this case a little more interesting as to the fact base sitting underneath it.